Thank you very much. Thank you, Vera. I'm Urban, and together with Aidan, we will present you what we do at Institute for Spatial Policies when we cooperate with universities. We are coming from Ljubljana, from Slovenia, and we are a non-governmental consulting and research organization in the field of sustainable urban spatial development. We focus on several topics, and those are participatory processes on various levels, urban regeneration, sustainable mobility, and some new spatial practices which are emerging. And we have several clients that we do projects with. Some are on European level, some are on national level, let's say ministries. We do projects with municipalities, and some projects are with some private clients, and also some of the projects, like this one, with universities. And the team is diverse. This is the core of us, the core of the team. And so here we are the profiles of architects, landscape architects, sociologists, translators, and we do complement our capacities with some other profiles if needed, of course. On this slide, I would like to present you what are the types of cooperation that we took or that we learn because our partners are a part of such cooperation. And here we have two axes. One is the duration and other is the intensity of cooperation. On the lowest level of cooperation, of course, there is some lectures and roundtables which are of short duration, and it is usually one directional information flow. What is more engaging is measured in weeks. Exchange is on a higher level, so there is some two-directional or maybe more directional exchange in the form of some workshops, summer schools, courses, and some competitions, let's say urban design competitions and so on. But this is still quite classical form of cooperation. What is measured in semesters are the research projects and some study subjects. So research project that is specifically UEL, which is a typical case of cooperation. There were some others before, and study subjects like us being mentors at some private universities. And what is the most engaging for all is the study programs, like the change or the establishment of new study programs, or the establishment of new NGOs or think tanks. And let me illustrate you with this. Okay, I already told that IPoP formed a subject in some private university, and let's say Urban Institute is an NGO similar to our, and together with Technical University in Riga, they formed a new study of urban planning, which is now quite successful and very popular. And on the other hand, Faculty of Social Pedagogy in Ljubljana, with professors, together with some people, homeless people, they formed an NGO, which is named Kings of the Streets, and they are very influential, and they are changing. It changed the course of the study program itself. So that is the modification of the study program. Very interesting. So now I would like to pinpoint some of the benefits of cooperation for universities on one hand, and for NGOs and practitioners on the other hand, and there are some common events. So for universities, it is the benefit is to get awareness of the real or perceived challenges. Universities can apply on and test theories in practice, and they can promote the scientific arguments in the public. while NGOs or similar organizations can get the access to the manpower of students and researchers, they can get, or we can get access to the theoretical knowledge, we can get more credibility, and we can benefit from the stability of university, which we sometimes lack. And the common benefits of this cooperation is establishing a common language in the, let's say, in the society or in the discourse, and of course we complement each other. And now I would invite Aidan.
Thank you. And I present some of the barriers for such cooperation between universities and NGOs and practitioners on the other side. The first one is the language. It has been mentioned before. Professors, assistants, and so on often use very specialized technocratic language that is not well understood by ordinary people who, of course, use ordinary language. Reading formal frames is not helpful. It's very structured how it functions, university, and daily life, of course, functions on another timeline by other rules, or it's much more relaxed in terms of administrative framework, and that often presents a barrier. The question is, are there topics in which university cannot take a position because of a political risk, or maybe because it's the matter itself is ambiguous and the university doesn't want to take a particular side or opinion on it? That can also be a barrier. On the other hand, a barrier on the side of practitioners or NGO can be lack of up-to-date theoretical knowledge. We don't have time to study the newest literature or articles and so on. And for us, it might be difficult to be completely up-to-date. Of course, we do it and we get the latest knowledge, but that amount of time and energy we can devote to that is significantly limited, of course. Lack of manpower. Usually NGOs, as you have seen, ours is more or less 5 people, but usually, especially in Slovenia, NGOs are a couple of people, 3, 4, 5, maybe 6. And they're really dependent on the individual capacities of these people. I mean, if there is a change, that changes the way that a particular NGO operates or how it operates. Then Richard pointed that out already. Because of certain activities of certain NGOs, in general, lack of credibility has been claimed. And on the other hand, university has this credibility. But however, the lack of credibility on the side of NGOs might be a barrier in certain type of corporations. And of course, NGOs are funded in a very precarious manner. And sometimes there are funds for particular cooperation that starts, goes on, might have good results, but then the funding is off, and the cooperation gets much more difficult after that, of course. The common barriers that could be pointed out: lack of common language, different response time and durations. Of course, universities respond in a rather slow manner, NGOs respond a bit faster, and people on the other hand, practitioners, they're very, very fast in this response. And obviously there can be quite a mismatch in that. Differences in problem definitions. It happened to us that there was a project between inhabitants of a particular housing estate, NGO and students and professor from a university, and at a certain point what problem should be dealt with, the approach that was quite different on the side of the local inhabitants and on the side of the students, of course. There was quite a different feeling of what the problem of this housing estate actually is, and that was a barrier. How it impacts the society. The evidence-based knowledge impacts communities, clients, practitioners, and generally enables an impact of evidence-based knowledge on the real-life matters. It supplies evidence-based grounds for actions, certain urban actions. Theoretical knowledge can be tested, and it enables research to meet the practice and vice versa, and both, of course, benefit from that. And it establishes potential for coalitions of different partners like universities, NGOs and practitioners that aim for a better quality of life, of course. And that's it.
What is your experience working with community groups? Are they organized when you reach out to them? So when you organize a consultation, for example, how do you communicate it? Who are the local stakeholders that you invite? And how do they look like in Ljubljana, in the cases that you work with?
It's hard to find common denominators, you know. There are quite some differences. But the community groups we have worked with, usually they were very much dependent on about 4, 5 or 6 individuals. Usually one of them was an architect. They were of course from a particular area. They were active in our experiences for about a couple of years. And then if there was no result that had a negative impact on their interest in being active for a longer time. The thing that often presented quite a challenge was if there was a change in terms, in this circle of 4 or 5 people, if 1 or 2 individuals changed, that was quite a challenge. And not every community group survived this kind of change. Okay, depends on a community group. Sometimes the thing that on which their level of activity depended was what's happening on the other side, meaning on the municipal side, particularly in cases when a community group was an answer to a specific plan from a municipality. That means that in these kind of cases, when there was a time in which the plan was being developed, then this group was very active. And then there was a low season, for example, the municipality was waiting for an investor or something like that, then the group was quite inactive because nothing was going on the other side. So it was the activities from the municipalities was a thing on which the rhythm was grounded.